Hey, what's going on? It's Jamie, just another marketing uncut session. In these videos, I'm really just talking about my experience online over the last 10 years, things I'm working on in my business, and it's not going to be fancy. This is about as fancy as it's going to get, so if that's of interest, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I will also be putting out regular video content that are edited and going to look flashy and all that, all the nice stuff. But what I really wanted to do is just start documenting a little bit more about what I'm going through in my business, my thoughts around certain things, and really just lay it out there as it is, and without all the fancy editing, basically. So anyway, I wanted to talk about an interesting concept that something I've been aware of for quite a while, and I've learned a fair bit about it, and have experienced it as well in my business through different experimentations that I've done and what I've seen with quite a few students and prospects, things like that as well. And so the idea is that I think a lot of people, they think, well, okay, I've got this information and that's cool. It's a course, it's a coaching program, it is one-on-one mentoring, whatever you want to call it. It is some sort of deliverable thing that helps the other person out. And in a modern economy, what tends to happen for most of us is we are thinking about price competition. And so what we're thinking about is, how can I get things cheaper, right? And so therefore, the problem with that approach though is, well, hang on, if I can see that this person's created this course and it's like $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever, I'm going to do something similar and undercut them. I'm going to make it like $500 or $100 or $50 or whatever. And it's an interesting approach. I've seen it play out obviously with I guess my Ultimate Marketing Mastermind, Super Affiliate Accelerator, all that type of stuff. People will come in, they will use the content, they will create their own programs based off the content, and then try and sell it for a cheaper price as well. Now, nothing, I mean, this is just competition, right? Like it's fine, whatever. But here's something to consider, right? Because if you're looking at, I guess, competition based on price, and the argument is that the deliverables are the same, it's just the actual investment to get involved is different. What that leads to then, all the other factors being the same, being equal, that's going to lead to a race to the bottom, right? Because what will happen is one competitor is going to come in and undercut the next one, then the next one's going to come in and undercut the next one, the next one, so on and so forth. So then it's just a race to the bottom. So then eventually you're not actually competing on economics at all. Now, the thing to bear in mind, if you're a product creator yourself or you're a coach and you're thinking, how can I make myself more competitive? I'm going to lower my prices. I'm going to make big discounts. I have done this myself in my own business, and the results have been usually quite detrimental. Ironically, I'm actually in the midst of a discount on my coaching program at the moment. I'm doing a payment plan, which I would argue is actually more over time, but I would argue that it is technically a discount because the attrition rate with these things is usually relatively high. But anyway, it's a story for another time. My mistrust of people actually paying stuff, it's a story for another time. But where I'm going with all this is, if you see yourself lowering your own prices, say for example you're a coach. I'll give you a real life example I've become privy to recently, where this person, we've connected, they are a coach. I'm not even going to name it just in case they watch this, but they are a coach of a specific thing that helps people out, basically. I'll leave it at that. And the packages are $85 for a month, $65 for a month, $40 for a month, things like that. Which, if you, as the owner of that business, have very little deliverables, then that can work. That's on the assumption that you're able to drive large amounts of traffic and you actually have a funnel or a process, a system to take strangers and turn them into customers, right? And that is, you've proved that works. Now you just need to throw traffic at it, or however you're deriving the traffic, through ads, through influencers, through borrowing other people's audiences, all that type of stuff, right? So that is on that assumption, meaning that you are delivering information products only, or you've outsourced the delivery of the actual end product itself, right? That's when that can work. But this one in particular was giving multiple one-on-one sessions per month, 85 bucks. Another package was 65 bucks for, again, it was like multiple one-on-one touch points, as well as access to chat, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. If you see something like that, and you see that someone's only charging $85 for the month for what is effectively full-time coaching, you've got to ask yourself what perspective you're giving off. Perspective? Maybe both. Let's go with both of them. Perspective, perception, whatever. You've got to think about what perception you're actually giving off at that point. Because if I see that, I'm thinking, this person must be pretty shit. They must be horrendous at their job. And for the reason, they might be brilliant at their job, but the self-belief isn't there where they feel worthy enough to charge more. They don't know how to charge more. And that's the problem a lot of coaches and high-ticket affiliates face, is that they've never had to sell something high-ticket before, so it feels really, really like awkward to do so to start with. And so my advice for anyone, if whoever bothers to watch this, is that think about ways that you can create price elasticity around your time, how you can leverage your time, how you can potentially even multiply yourself through things like pre-recorded content, written content people can consume on their own accord. Like, for example, some of the videos I've got on this very channel, I created them many years ago. People are still watching them every single day. I get a ton of views from these particular videos. And that's me leveraging my time. That is me duplicating myself, right? Which then means that if I'm able to draw more traffic in and I'm able to step away from the acquisition process for those lower ticket things, 85, 65, all that type of stuff, meaning I've got less and less involvement, then absolutely, that's completely fine because I'm able to drive traffic, right? I've been able to duplicate myself and duplicate my own efforts. Hopefully this is making sense. But if you don't have that, you don't have a large audience. By the way, you don't need a large audience to make a ton of money. Story for another time. But think about how you can create your own economic environment and push the price elasticity up and up and up and up and up, right? Because end of the day, that is how you're going to build a proper business model that actually feeds you properly. Like if you're charging 80 bucks a month or 100 bucks or even 200 bucks a month, you're really doing yourself a disservice. I'll talk about my own experience. I'm not having to go at this particular person. I'll talk about my own experience. When I was a younger man, back in the day, and I was just starting to get into this whole world, and I was really just, man, like how do I get some sales? And so a couple of things happened. I was targeting low ticket offers for starters. And one of the problems was that in my mind, I'm like, cool, I'll sell the thing once. I'll get all this passive income and then that'll be my income every month. Or like I'll replace my job income and I'll retire. Easy. What ended up happening though is, of course, the attrition rate, the natural inflation of people leaving after a certain amount of time. Sometimes they wouldn't even finish the trial and they've already left the software or the membership or the whatever it is. And so therefore I was like fighting this uphill battle because I didn't have a big audience. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to overload as much as I possibly can, overload the entire value that I can give on the front end of this thing, which I was receiving $30 a month for. And I was thinking, I wonder what I can do here. So I gave my mobile number out to this person. I gave unlimited access to me, gave my email address out. They could email me anytime they like. I had multiple one-on-one calls with this particular person. Bear in mind, I'm only getting 30 bucks a month at this point. And I was like, I learned very, very quickly, this is not a fair, I'm getting ripped off, it's not a fair deal at all. Now, granted, I didn't have the success I do now, and that was something that obviously I didn't quite understand the psychology behind some of the buying behaviors for things back then. But at the same time, I learned very quickly, like, hang on, there's a disconnect here. Like, I can still create value, but I'm devaluing myself by giving so much for so little. I'm making myself look cheap. And that's exactly who I ended up attracting as well, because I was making myself look cheap. I was racing myself to the bottom through an affiliate product. That person, guess what? They stayed with that particular product for 2 months, right? So I ended up making like 60 bucks. Go me. 60 bucks over 2 months of unlimited coaching, of having access to my private mobile number, to being able to message me anytime, day or night, to get help with certain things, to be basically being their tech support. This stupid bloody software that I was promoting, right? And so The reason I say this, and the reason why this is kind of an interesting topic and something that I would encourage everyone to learn more about, is you can create price elasticity that goes the other way, right? You can create your own coaching offer that is valued up, like valued more. Because then what's happening is people, if they start seeing, okay, this person is charging 5K for their coaching. Now, obviously make sure you're qualified as well. There's this whole other video I'm going to make about people that have never done anything online and they charging exorbitant amounts for just shit, if you ask me. I'll leave my strong opinions about that to another video. But you can still, if you've got the skills, you know you can help people out, and you're not just in for the cash grab, then think about the perception of you charging, say for example, 5K for coaching, or $2,000 for coaching, or $3,000, whatever is just above your current comfort level, right? But don't play in the realms of like the unlimited coaching for $100 a month, because it makes you look cheap. And like I say, I learned this the hard way through my own experience. I later tried this again later on, and again, it came from a place of extreme lack. It wasn't like a strong place that I came from when I was thinking about this stuff. It came from a lack, and that lack ended up biting me in the butt, because I was selling my time and my soul for very, very cheap on a monthly basis. And again, I thought, cool, I'm just gonna load all this traffic up. Didn't happen like that. People bailed, and it was just horrible, and they just stole all my information. And I learned, again, a very hard lesson. And these lessons, I mean, I'm preaching them here, but they are very hard learned lessons along the way, right? So to conclude, I'm sort of rambling now, but to conclude, think about how you can create price elasticity. Think about how you can craft an offer so good that people are willing, ready, and able to throw $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $20,000, whatever it is, at what you have to help them with, assuming it's the right opportunity for them. And that, of course, is their decision at the end of the day, based on whatever your marketing is, right? So you cannot control what they end up doing, but you can control your pricing and your value and your worth that you're able to provide to the marketplace. So that's it, right? And so don't race to the bottom. Don't like keep lowering your prices. It's okay to have discounts every now and then and do bits and pieces. I get that, but if you're in a coaching capacity where you're exchanging time for money, that in itself is where you need to start looking at what your time is really worth. Because no matter what you've earned before, and it might be a little bit scary if you're thinking about going, okay, I'm going to ask for $3,000 from this person for 6 weeks of coaching, whatever it is, right? It might be scary because you've never done it before, and you're like, oh, am I a fraud? Can I make it all happen? Oh gosh, I hope so. Oh, please say yes. All that type of stuff, and I get that. But at the same time, you've got to think about not just the time that you're with that person if you're coaching. Think about the knowledge that you've had to consume to get to that point, that level of expertise to be able to help them out. Think about the shortcut. If they were to go learn all the stuff that and you're going to help them with, think about the shortcut of that time. And that is why it's worth so much. Imagine, for me, I've sold millions of dollars worth of stuff on and offline. I've been building my business for over 10 years. I've tried so much stuff, worked with thousands, not thousands, but over 1,000 customers, 700 students, right? So imagine being able to compress all that down over a decade of experience. What's it going to be worth for you to accelerate your business? In like 6 weeks time, you're able to download the knowledge in my brain or anyone else's that's done this stuff for a little while. It's got to be worth it, right? Like if you all of a sudden are able to go, okay, I've got this one offer here, and now I know how to sell 10 of those a month at 5K, and I'm only paying 5K for that, or 10K, or whatever it is, right? Like it's got to be worth it, right? Like, and that is where you need to start thinking of, because now all of a sudden you're not racing to the bottom. You're holding true to your own worth, and that is going to be able to magnetize the right people that you need in order to excel in your business. So, bit of a random one. Hopefully that makes sense. Drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. And of course, if you're interested in keeping up to date with everything I'm putting out, this is just my uncut version. I'll obviously be throwing out other videos later on. And yeah, feel free to sign up to my newsletter, all that funky stuff, and catch you guys around. Cheers.